Badger Brewery Master Stoat.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. First things first, that's Percy. Come on in. Come on. He hasn't been on the videos in a long time, have you, mate? So here he is. The fat little fucker that he is. He must get down. Doesn't like being called a fat little... Oh, he's farted as well. That stinks. You dirty bastard. Oh, that is rotten. His face. He knows what he's done. Oh, that is fucking evil. You can get your dinner out of that. Oh, anyway. Moving along swiftly. First things first, I'd like to thank each and every one of you who's wished me well on the channel, and the health situation is good. I'm expecting blood tests tomorrow, blood test results tomorrow, so who knows what that's going to do. I've definitely cut down on my drinking. I'm not doing 5 or 6 pints a night like I used to, or 6 or 7 sometimes. I've actually lost a bit of weight. I used to be a size large in a t-shirt, so I'm a size medium now, and yeah, that's I suppose that's got to be a bit of a bonus. I did have a bit of a blowout last night, actually. I did go to a Gurkha curry house in Maidstone and had about 3 pints and a lovely Gurkha curry, which was absolutely fantastic. I paid for it this morning, though, in ways that you can only imagine. Anyway, again, thanks very much for the concerns and all the comments and all that. I really do appreciate it. I know I'm very slack on replying to you, but I do, in all honesty, read each and every comment that you put on there. I get alerts on my phone and I do read it. So that's that out of the way. Secondly, I wanted to bring you this bit of news because I do subscribe to quite a few beer information sites and camera, that type of thing. And there is supposedly a new style of beer coming out. Now, I'm not going to remember this, and I wanted to read you out why this is quite important. It's an interesting concept, and it's come from the Otter Brewery, based down in the West Country. Now, I've got it on my phone, and I'm not going to, as I say, I'm not going to remember it off the top of my head, but they're trying to push this new style of beer, and it's quite interesting because they've called it a fresh ale, and what it is, it's basically beer that's brewed for a cask. It's been given a light shot of carbonation, and it's being sold in a keg. Now, in the back of my mind, I was thinking they tried this in the 70s and it was a fucking abortion. You had stuff like Watney's Red Barrel, that kind of thing, and yeah, it didn't. I mean, at the time it was popular, but you look back on it now, and I think they've even reissued Watney's Red Barrel. It was never good, and I think the reissue was a nostalgia type thing. But I digress. Let me read out to you what the Otter Brewery or what a reporter has got from the Otter Brewery, and what this style actually is. So it's called fresh ale, so keep an eye out for it if it does become a thing. Fresh ales are beers that are initially brewed as cask ales, but instead of being filled into casks, they are gently carbonated before being put into kegs. So it's basically what I just said. The Devonshire-based brewery's first beer being launched as a fresh ale is named Amber Fresh, and paves the way for a new form of ale for pubs designed to be fresh in name and fresh by nature. Read into that what you will. According to the Otter Brewery, drinkers are looking for beer to be slightly cooler than traditional cask ale, maybe, flavoursome and gently carbonated, and the new beer category is brewed in exactly the same way as our cask beers, then gently carbonated and racked into a keg. This means the beer will stay in great condition for longer, remaining fresh to drink for weeks rather than days. On the face of it, that if it's a good ale, that sounds like a good idea. However, in practice, I don't know how that's going to work. Otter Brewery insisted that even though US hops play a large role in the delivery of craft beers, all too often craft beers are over-hopped to the point where the beer becomes a challenge to drink. That's a very good point, and that's a point that I do make on a lot of videos. American hops seem to be the, I wouldn't say the panacea, but the go-to, and in my opinion, in certain cases, it does mask a bad beer. It says to me that a lack of experience, but it just means you, in my opinion, because the flavours are so strong, you don't have to be that careful, if you know what I mean. Anyway, where was I? It becomes a challenge to drink. Arguably a good discussion point. Well, it is, because I do make this point in a lot of my videos, as I've just mentioned, rather than a beer that slips down with ease and invites the next large swig. Well, that's a common complaint I hear from a lot of people. Now, some people who have initially embraced that craft beer revolution, certainly the Brewdog stuff, all of a sudden now a lot of people are saying to me they don't really like that fruit cocktail, and they don't really like that bitterness that comes from the American style hops, you know, the grapefruit bitterness. And I must admit, I'm not a fan either. The fresh ale, Amber Fresh, still uses the US hop Willamette, but according to the brewery, it's very drinkable and appealing. Right, well, I'm going to keep an eye out for that. Hang on, sorry, there was a little bit more. The concept of fresh ale category echoes Camera's recent plans for its Drink Fresh campaign, formerly titled Drink Fresh Beer, that it revealed plans for during last year's Cask seminar, hosted by Cask Mark. Well, interesting stuff if you're a beer geek like me, so I'm going to keep an eye out for that, and if I can, if it's going to be sold in pubs, I'll have to do a sort of a YouTube short in a pub and let you know what it's like. But the Otter Brewery are good. I like what they do. So if it's good beer, I'll let you know. Watch this space. Anyway, let's get back to the beer. This is the Badger Master Stoat. This is a coffee stout, and it's, according to them, rich and sweet with notes of toffee. Okay. There is a bit of an alarm bell in this, but I will leave that for a little bit later in the next section. It's a beer that was picked up in Morrison's. Now, Morrison's have carried this beer along with Asda, and I think Waitrose do it as well. You probably won't find it anywhere else, I don't think, but it's a beer that I saw sitting on the shelf, and I do like what Badger do. However, Badger Brewery are prone to having moments of madness, and the beers are just fucking insane. One of the ones that really does stand out for me is the Blandford Fly. That was like a ginger beer, a ginger flavoured beer, which has won awards. I mean, people must like it, but personally, I think, nah, it's not good. I remember throwing it down the sink and thinking, this is absolute dog shit. I should review it again, I suppose, and revisit it. That was about 2 years ago. No, lying. That was about 3 years ago. It was bought for me as a present, and it was a selection box of their beers, and I do remember the Cranbourne Poacher being in there, and I did like that at the time. I thought that was excellent stuff, and I reviewed it. I've done a revisiting video of it, and I just remember thinking, actually, this isn't that great. So yeah, Badger are a little bit hit and miss, but they do some fantastic stuff. That Thirsty Ferret, check that out. That's a fantastic beer, as is Tanglefoot as well. That's another great one from them. But I do like the brewery. They've been going since 1777, so they are a year younger than the United States. That's how long they've been brewing. And they do, as I say, some absolutely fantastic beer, and they do some, well, dirge, in my opinion. They go a bit over the top with the adjuncts, which, again, I want to get onto in the next section on this one. But they called it a coffee stout. Is that a style? Who knows? There you go. Again, I'm going to reveal more in the next section, but that's about it from there. You know, this is one of these beers that I've got a couple of alarm bells going on at the moment. But the Badger Brewery, they're based down in, well, is it the West Country or just the south of England? They're based near Blandford, which is, or Dorset, which is right down in the south. If you've ever been to Dorset at all, some very nice parts of there. Weymouth, of course, is lovely. The old Jurassic coast, been there a few times. And yeah, not too bad. If you're wondering why I'm scratching my hand, I have got a huge pain in my left hand, and I'm sure it's from playing guitar. I hope it's not the starting of carpal tunnel syndrome, because my niece had that. She got it playing the piano, and yeah, not good. It's fucking painful. But there you go. Anyway, enough about my health woes. Let's get on to the next section. Right, 5%, 500ml bottle. The alarm bell. I want to get onto this. This contains espresso, not espresso. If you want to wind up an Italian, tell them you like pizza with pineapple and call it an espresso, and they'll fucking lose the plot. The old hands will be going mental. They'll be giving it like that. You know that thing they do. What the fuck? That means what the fuck in Italian. What the fuck? I'm sure they was all deaf, and they used to use sign language as the way they use their hands. But yeah, if there's any Italian viewers, I do apologise. But yeah, we all have our traits, don't we? Anyway, what else have we got on here? Let's read a little bit about this. Right, a stickler for detail with a discerning palate. Turns out that surly Stoat has a surprising sweet tooth. Never happy to settle for second best. He prefers to brew his own thing. He prefers to brew his own thing. I've never seen a fucking Stoat brewing beer. We have that in common. Rich and dark with notes of toffee. The recipe for this indulgent coffee stout is one of our most closely guarded secrets. Oh, really? On the website it says it contains chocolate malt, crystal malt and a shot of espresso. For all you Italians, espresso, of course it is. That's about it really. What has it got on the ingredients? Well, it doesn't really give you the ingredients on there. Again, this is another bugbear with me. Fucking brewers, they don't have to put ingredients. Now, if you're creating a food stuff, you have to list everything, including the preservatives. Brewers seem to get a buy on that, and I don't know why. There you go. There's the label. It's got a Stoat on there. Stoats are like furry little animals, and it's got a white fur on there. Apparently they change colour according to the season. When it comes to winter, their fur goes lighter for some reason. I don't know whether it's for camouflage or not. Who knows? Anyway, I'm not. What do they call them? People that study animals. I don't know. A fucking zoologist. What the fuck am I going on about? Let's get on to the next section. Right, let's pop this open. Here's the cap. Cool, blimey, I can smell coffee already. And it ain't good. And it smells of espresso. I'm going to say espresso just to wind the Italians up. Because they like wine, and I don't like wine. That really is strong. And normally when you get aromas that strong, it's normally because they're artificial. But there you go. There it is in the glass. Looks like a stout, very, very, very dark ruby in colour. Nice tan coloured head on it. Oh, that's sweet and coffee-like. It smells really sweet, and I'm wondering whether this is going to be sickly sweet. That really is strong. Oh, as I say, with the Badger Brewery, their adjuncts seem to be just way over the top in certain beers. Oh, that's little Bob, he wants to get out. Go on in. Come on, stop fucking about and go out if you want to go out. So, I'm getting a very sweet chocolate. I'm getting some coffee. And that is about it, really. And they say it's a closely guarded secret. Well, you can fucking smell that it's got coffee and chocolate in it. I'm wondering whether they say it's chocolate malt. I'm wondering whether this is some kind of, I don't know, not cocoa powder, but some kind of chocolate flavouring. Oh, I've got fucking misgivings about this. This is going to be sweet. Oh well, proof is in the tasting. Bottoms up. Oh, good God, that is so sweet. It's too sweet for me. That's like really artificial, sweet chocolate, a hint of coffee, and it's sweet on the palate, and the finish is very sweet as well. I'm not a fan, I have to say. These kind of beers do have their place though. If you've been, I don't know, how can I put this? If you've been supping West Coast IPAs for a good few hours and you want something sweet, these are actually quite welcome. Now, I've done this before, so I'm not saying these beers don't have their place, but this is not something that is for me. I haven't really got a sweet tooth, to be fair, and this is very sweet. Now, I'm not a fan of sweet beer, and there's sugar in this. I think there's chocolate flavouring in this, hence the reason they keep it fucking secret, but it's not good. I'm going to say it's not good. God, it's fucking sweet. Oh. Nah, I really don't like this, I'm afraid. It's almost like a novelty beer. When I say novelty beers, I mean beers that have been flavoured with stuff to the point where they just don't taste like beer. And this is bordering on that. As I say, it's just sweet chocolate, almost sickly, cloying sweetness, and I don't really like it, to be honest, and I'm not going to find any redeeming features in that whatsoever. As I say, they do sometimes have their place, and that is when you've been drinking a lot of bitter beers. This can come as quite a welcome break from the bitterness of some of the high-end West Coast IPAs, that kind of thing. As I say, I've done this before in craft beer places where I've had, you know, 3 or 4 West Coasts and something like that, and it's got to the point where, well, I just want something different, and you pick up a sweet stout and you take the first mouthful and it's really nice, and then you get 3/4 of the way down and you think, fucking hell, this has turned out to be a bad night. But no, I'm not going to find anything in this that is going to make me like it. It's just too sweet and artificial, and that's not what, in my opinion, beer is about. It's a classic example, in my opinion, and these are a good brewer. They shouldn't be doing this, but this is a classic example of making a beer taste so artificial it doesn't taste like beer, and there's no need for it. I'm sure with all their years of experience they can brew beer that's very, very good. Well, I know for a fact they can. I'm sure they can brew a stout that tastes like a decent stout. This is just, I don't know, stout drinkers won't like it because it's too sweet. People who like beer but don't like stouts won't buy this because they won't buy stouts, and it does make me wonder who is going to buy this kind of beer. Not me, unfortunately. What is the verdict on Badger Master Stoat? Well, this isn't my kind of thing, to be honest. It's just too sweet, taste of sweet chocolate, and I don't think that's got a place in beer, in my opinion. Certainly not the beer that I would buy. And it's a shame because Badger do some great beers, but they also do some dirge, and I think this is one to add to the list, along with the Cranbourne Poacher and the Blandford Fly. It's just, in my opinion, it just doesn't taste like beer. It tastes like, I don't know, like a sweet drink almost. I mean, it smells nice. If that was like a I wouldn't say a soft drink, but it's almost like a milkshake. That's, if you can imagine that, with like coffee notes. In fact, I will say, if you like, you know, these fucking whipped cream coffee type fucking nonsense things that come out of Costa Coffee and God knows who else, but you may like it if you like that. I don't like it. I'm not a massive fan of coffee, and I'm not a massive fan of this. I'm sorry, Badger Brewery, but I'm going to give you 2 out of 10. It just isn't my thing. And what's the 2 for? I don't know. It's got a reasonable mouthfeel. That's quite nice. It does look nice, I will say that, but that's as far as it goes. It's not for me. I think that was about £2.50 or £2.60. If you like sweet beer, if you like sweet coffee, you're going to like that. For me, it's a and a 2 out of 10. And remember, I'm not drinking this shit, so you don't have to.